Hey guys, this is Mark from PixelFiendTech.com, and over the past few weeks I've had a lot of requests asking me questions about taking video on DSLR cameras. So that is exactly what we will be speaking about in this video. Okay, so in the questions that people have been asking, the main two things have been sound and autofocus, so I will cover those, but I will also just generally go over the main essentials to taking video on a DSLR. So first, of course, you're going to want to remove your lens cap so that you can actually see. Then, turn on your camera. Now I would like to say, it is camera specific, so the controls and such will not be the same on every camera. I'm using the Nikon D5200, so generally buttons will be fairly similar, but just take that into mind that our cameras may not work the same. So now what I'm going to do is, since you cannot actually take video looking through the viewfinder, you have to put it in live mode. So here I have a little switch, and when I flick that, you'll see it comes up on the screen and it says no memory card. So what I'm going to do is grab my memory card and just put it into the slot on the side of your camera. For mine it is just over here on the side, and you can see I just push it in here, and it should, if I put it in the right way, click into position. So now you can see that little bit has gone, and we are now fine to take video. Now what I'm going to do here is just use this little lens cap as a prop for my video. So I'll just kind of lay that there so that you can see that, and then I'm going to position it so that you guys can see the screen on my camera slightly better here. So what I'm going to want to do is zoom in to make sure I have that sharp focus on the object. So just play around with the focus ring until you can see that picture being nice and sharp. Then I'll choose where I want to zoom to, so that's fine enough for me. And then to record, simply press the small red button on top of the camera here, and you will see it starts recording. Now notice the screen did get smaller, so if I stop recording, you can see the kind of picture changes size. Now that is just putting it into the regular kind of aspect ratios for video. Now I'm not going to go too much into the settings and stuff of what you should set it in to get the best video, but I might do that in another video, so subscribe if you want to see that. So now what I'm going to speak about is keeping it still. Now a lot of lenses, you will see here it says on the lens VR, which stands for vibration reduction. So that is a handy thing to have on a lens, but obviously if you're taking a video, you're moving your camera like that, it's not going to stop it from shaking. Now the camera I'm filming this on, I will just actually show you here. It is, I don't know if you can see that in the screen, but the camera is on top of a tripod. You can just see it there with me in the background. So a tripod is a brilliant way to keep your camera steady, and it's going to be a lot better than just using your arms. I'm not going to really go into techniques you can use to keep it steadier, but a tripod is certainly something to think of if you're not doing much movement in your video. So let's get on to the focus side of things. Now you need to either make sure that your lens has AFS, so if I just bring my camera up here, you can see it says AFS right there, which means it has autofocus. And if you also look at the front of the lens, I believe, nope, I don't think this lens actually has it. Oh wait, yes, it's down here. SWM, that is another thing to look for. That means silent wave motor. Now it doesn't mean your autofocus is going to be silent, but it means it's going to be quieter than general autofocus that you would get on lenses that didn't have a silent wave motor. So basically what all this means is that there is a focus thing inside the lens that will autofocus if you want it to. The other option is to have a motor inside your camera. Now this camera does not have a motor, though most modern lenses do, so it isn't that important, though you can get better autofocus if you have a motor inside your camera. So when you're buying it, that's certainly something to look into, because if you don't have a motor in either your lens or your camera, then you simply cannot autofocus. So to autofocus, that is if you're choosing to autofocus, simply go to the switch on the side of the lens and change from M to A. This will allow me to, for example, if I put it back into manual here, so I can put the picture extremely out of focus. So then what I will do, will hold it up here, and if I just hold down the shutter button, not push it down, just hold it down halfway, you should hopefully be able to see there that it shifted into focus. Now you could hear it wasn't the quickest and it wasn't the quietest, and that is because it is not the best of lenses, and I do not have an internal autofocus motor in my camera. So that is the basic way of how to autofocus. So you just hold down the shutter button halfway and it will focus for you. That is the only real way to do it on this camera. So you're just going to have to, if your subjects are moving far away from you, either practice a lot with manual focus or just keep holding that button halfway down. Now what I'm going to speak about is sound. Now, a thing to take into consideration here is where your microphones are. So on the top of the camera here you can see these 8 holes here, and those are the stereo microphones. Now on this camera, stereo microphones are probably about 5-6 inches away from the actual focus ring, which means when you autofocus the noise is pretty loud. So if you're autofocusing, I would definitely recommend not using that internal mic. Now believe me, internal mics on cameras are nowhere near as good as external microphones. So here is an example of an external microphone. So on one end you have those lapel clips, so you can clip this onto your shirt or your jumper, and this is the microphone. Then on the other end you have the 3.5 jack that you can plug into your camera. Now you need to make sure that your camera has this jack. It is just usually called a mic jack. You can just see mine there, and you can see here I can plug the microphone into it quite easily, and that will now record through the microphone. Now believe me, that was not an expensive microphone. It was actually extremely cheap, and it provides extremely better audio quality to the microphone in the camera. Now the better thing about having an external microphone is that you can position it, because generally you probably won't want the microphone to be in the same place as the picture is being shot, because the subject who is speaking or whatever you're wanting to take noise from will probably be far away, or at least a few meters away from the camera. Now having a microphone like this allows you to direct where the sound is coming from. So for example, I could point it at my mouth, and it means if there were cars in the background, it would highly cut down that background noise and mean that you only really get the person speaking. Whereas recording with this, you get a lot of different noises, and it really sounds a bit like you're recording yourself sitting in a tin can. So definitely go for an external microphone if you want good audio quality on your camera. So when you're buying a camera, I would highly recommend you making sure it has that audio jack on the side so you can connect a microphone. You also get shotgun microphones which go into the hot shoe bit at the top, like the Rode Video mic, which are also very good and much better than the built-in cameras. Now, DSLRs are not going to be nearly as good as camcorders for video, though to be honest they are catching up and are really good. So I really hoped this video helped you. If it did, please leave a like, a comment and subscribe. I will hopefully be doing a more in-depth video speaking about the more settings side, adjusting your settings, things like that, to get better video and some techniques that you can use. Thank you very much for watching. See you.